creativity shows up around you, what's the image that shows up in your head? Is it painting? Something like drawing, some videos and mountains? Well, we have drawing pigs and drawing pigs. And how many people? It's with how birds will act them. How bird business. For me, what shows up when I think about creativity is hiding. 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 My parents with me in every class that was possible. I'm so grateful to know. Piano, art, badminton, everything. You know, I was an exceptional quitter. I could get that. And in none of those classes did I ever feel creative. I'll tell you where I felt creative. Every day, I would come back home from school around 1:15, and we would eat lunch, my mom and I, and then it was a thing in our house. We'd go to sleep. Right? So my mom would go to sleep. I would pretend to go to sleep. And when she's asleep, I'd go into the hall. I'd find all these old medicines and deodorants and all of these weird things. Anything I know that nobody's been looking at for some time. I'd crush that, mix it, take it to the balcony and set it on fire. Burnt my hands a couple of times. But I don't think my mother to this day knows that that's how I was spending my afternoon. In school, of course, all of us had these notebooks. What was on the last page of yours? What was it?
Love letters.
All these cartoon characters. It was everything. Nobody listened to the very busy drawings. And again, it was about hiding. You have to hide. You can't get caught. Creativity was involved. Yeah, always hiding. This fear of getting caught. And eventually it became lesser and lesser and lesser until school finished, university finished, and I was successfully trained out of creativity. And to this day, whenever the word comes up, it doesn't just bring happiness or happy thoughts or green meadows and sunshine or paints even. It doesn't even bring the fire I was lighting or the anime characters I was drawing. It always brings the fear of getting caught. And this is eventually I finished school, finished university. That's what got me to Bangalore. I got a job, software. No surprises there. Yeah. And every morning we would arrive at the office, and my team had mostly people who were kind of my age, but just like a little bit older, so 2-3 years. Every morning was the same story. Every morning would come, and these guys would like sit on their chair, swivel 180 degrees, right, and be like, Abhijit, you wait and watch. Wait and watch. In 3 months, I'm going to quit this job and follow my passion. 3 months, right? I'm done. I'm tired of this job. I'm gonna. And that same day, somehow, the manager will say, let's go out for lunch. By the end of the week, you have a little gift waiting for you at the table. At the end of the month, it's a team retreat. Right? In 6 months, you have a visa for Greece for a holiday with the whole team. Right? And then you complain in the morning, drink in the evening, come back again, complain in the morning, come back again. And 3 months went by, 6 months went by, none of them quit. Right? Comfort zone. But to me, that image got stuck. I saw my face in this guy. Like, I'll be I'll be this person. In a couple of years, I will come completely unhappy to work, turn my chair around and complain every day. Right? That scared me so much, I left. And this was my 6-month full-on corporate experience that I had. I moved to this village, Bangalore, outside of the city of Bangalore, somewhat off Kanakpura road. Finally, I was jobless, agendaless. For most part, my mom and dad were not talking to me neither. My friends thought I was quite stupid, so they also stopped. And so there was finally just this nothingness, nothing to do. Finally there was just wake up in the morning and then decide how this day will go. That's the next time after when I was a kid that I felt creative again. Because I had done nothing yet. I had not built anything, drawn anything, had colors in my hand or mud on my feet. Nothing. Just nothing. Not having an agenda. And so I thought, okay, something went terribly wrong along the way. That I did everything that people told me to do, got a job, and then still, what a weird thing. Everybody thinks you're successful and you know something is wrong. So if the idea of success itself has been wrong, then everything preceding it has been wrong. So I decided, okay, we'll have to start all over. Right? This is no way to live. And so in this village I started this space. I say space, it had no name. Right? It was just a room. With this idea that I will restart my from scratch. Let's teach ourselves ABCD once all over. Maybe ABCD is not needed at all. We will start somewhere else. And these kids from around in the village, they started also hanging out. There's a long story to it, but basically every morning I and a bunch of 13, 14 year olds would sit together and think, yeah, so what should we do today? And this was the most amazing feeling to have control of your day, to know that you can decide exactly what you do on that day. And we started, making things. I always loved making, like setting things on fire. We started building things together, and one of the kids said, "Oh, there are dogs. They don't have anything to play with." So we made a machine that threw balls for the dog. And of course, the common thing between me and these kids is together we are quite broke. Neither they, obviously, nor I have any money. Right? So to make anything was going to people's houses and asking them to show us their trash and scavenging what they have and bringing it over. And that's how we were building stuff every single day. Sometimes we found some LEDs and we found some saris and we put LEDs on the saris. And you can't imagine all these boys wearing saris with LEDs and dancing around. We didn't tell the parents, they would have gone completely freaked out. So this is how this space was coming up, and eventually there were not just kids. We started realizing that this feeling that I was feeling was also being felt by so many others. The kids were feeling it at school. The adults were feeling it at home, at their work. Right? Everywhere, everybody felt that they just had no control over their life. Not even 1 hour to themselves. And this is how our very first, now we call it a nook. Right? But this learning space came about, which even to this day has no teachers. Nobody comes to teach anything. Does not have any curriculums. There is no preset thing that everybody is supposed to learn. For sure has no exam. Right? Has books but no textbooks. And the people who come to learn there are as young as 10 years of age to as old as 75. And these people, they just get together and they decide what they will learn, how they will learn. And if they can't agree, then they don't agree. They don't have to all agree. You know, they can do things in smaller groups. But that entire education is what they do. And from that one, it's the tiny unnamed space to Bangalore. How there are quite a few of these nooks in different parts of India, in some parts of Africa, and the one that makes me very proud of three big reasons is there's a nook is there. It makes me proud because all our life we have heard about what the idea of development, growth, and future should be from extraterrestrials. Right? In fact, many years ago, I was giving a talk there, and it was a room like this, and I was getting bad. I gave the talk, and people were like, "Oh, but this is not, a great push for you in India, good for you in Africa, but we don't need it. Our education system is perfect." I said, "Okay, maybe it is perfect." Okay. And there was a teacher sitting in that room, right? This guy, she was sitting there. A few years later, he quit his job. And he started a completely new school based on the same values we were discussing in that shoot, right? And then he writes me a message 2 years ago that he broke one. I think I'm really. I said, so let's just call it a go. And so this idea that we have already received the school from colonization, from the industrial history, forced onto all of these places that we call today the global south, forced down people's throats, communities, marketed until, until there was no recourse there, right? Made into law that you have no choice but to do, right? We come from there to start going through us and say, hey, you know what, I think we don't understand what we're actually doing, and we don't need to colonize people for doing that. Right? We go with humility, we go with the openness of the heart, and saying, if we find something and making this useful for people on earth, right? And this has been our mission. We create these spaces, but also the conversation, right? It was trying to take this idea. School is the only way that learning can happen. Yeah, I can use that. Okay.